Hey, thanks for joining me for Your Body Advocate podcast, listening to your body's side of the story. Today, I want to talk about setting your body up for success for this next year. Being January, this is perfect. And also, let's do a review of how your body did last year. Let's take a deep breath to relax. Ready? All right, here we go.
You're listening to Your Body Advocate, telling your body's side of the story. The podcast dedicated to supporting and improving your body-mind connection so you can live a pain-free, passion-filled life, dissolving one body tension at a time. Discover the healing properties of your own body language, and together let's explore ways to support and improve essential self-talk. Now, here's your host, Master of Encouragement and Body-Mind Life Coach, Ruth Cummings.
Well, hello, everybody. Today I wanted to talk about a unique way of looking at the past year and looking at this coming year. We always talk about, New Year's resolutions or different ways that we did financially or did we reach our goals. How did your body do? Did your body feel good at the end of the year? Did you lose the weight that you wanted? Did you gain the weight that you wanted? Did your body feel calm? Were you able to sleep? How many hours of sleep did you get? Did you keep up your fitness? Were you in pain? How was your amount of self-care this year? How was your communication with yourself? Were you good to yourself? Did you communicate with positivity and creativity and pride from yourself to yourself? With love from yourself to yourself? And the big one we talked about in December was giving and receiving. Were you good at giving and were you good at receiving? Most of us are really good at giving to other people, but when it comes to receiving gifts from others, even from God, even from ourselves, it's very challenging and very difficult, and we would much rather give than receive. So first, looking at last year and really taking inventory of our body. How was your head last year? Did your head hurt? Did you have eye pain? Did you have jaw pain or anything going on with your ears? Ringing in your ears? Were your teeth okay? Scan your head. Scan anything that happened with your hair, with your scalp, anything that happened in your head, and write that down. Then look at your neck, and let's do the same thing here. Did you have sore throats last year? Did you have times where it was hard to get rid of a cough, like I did? Not really a cough, but I had a hard time swallowing, if you guys remember, and it was based on not really wanting to swallow some things happening in my personal life with my husband and my mom. But it's totally better now, and I've been doing a lot of communication with my family about my grief and about my worry, and my throat has gotten a lot better. So look at things like that. So did your throat hurt a lot? Was it easy to swallow things? And let's look at the back of your neck. Did your neck hurt? Most people have neck tension from stress or sitting and staring at their work all day, mostly on computers and using a keyboard. But we're also driving in that same posture. We also watch TV in that posture. We cook in that posture. We do a lot of things in that posture. So I would imagine that the back of your head hurt. The back of your neck hurt. And then let's go down to the shoulders. So write these things down, right? I'll try to add a PDF to this episode for you. So then go down to your shoulders. Did your shoulders hurt this year? How did they do? Did they feel like they were really strong for you? Could you hold a lot on your shoulders? Or were you feeling weaker this year? Were you feeling like you couldn't handle much? Was there already so much responsibility that it was hard to take anything else on? Or were you like, woohoo, let's bring it on, and able to have a lot of responsibility, a lot of new things, a lot of excitement thrown into your life, and you were just excited to take it on? Put that in your backpack. So how did your shoulders feel? Were you able to have full range of motion with your arms? Were you able to have full range of motion between your shoulders and your neck? For example, turning your neck all the way to one side, having your chin be across your shoulder on both sides. How did that work? Did that work pretty well between your shoulders and your neck? Now let's go down to your chest. How was your chest? The chest holds love, grief, courage, and betrayal. Those are the top 4. There's many others that the chest holds. But how was your chest this year? Did you have any coughs? Was it easy to swallow things like through your esophagus? Did you have grief that you held? Grief is held in the lungs. So oftentimes, if we're not wanting to let things go, we do things like smoking. Smoking can hold down and suppress and depress any of those things that are not ready to come out yet. That's one of the things about smoking that we're finally going to get to this year, about how to let that go in your body, looking at that as a way of suppressing something that feels very scary to look at, very sad to look at. How about heartache? Were you in love with someone this year? Did you feel and accept their love? Did you give your love? Was it able to come up through your chest, up through your throat, and out and actually being spoken? How was your body with expression of love and just appreciation or gratefulness? How was it expressing the positives? Also in your prayers, how was it? Was it expressing positives to God? Were you mad at God this year? This often is shown in this area, not only just in the chest, but between the chest, the shoulders, and the throat, because it needs to come up from the chest area and then be spoken. So it has to come up through the shoulders and the neck to be spoken. So looking at the chest, at the back of the chest would be like between the shoulder blades. Often this is where we hurt if we're feeling betrayed. Have a knife in your back. Did you get a knife in your back this year? Did someone you love or trust betray you? If someone that you love and trusted betrayed you, and you're having pain between your shoulder blades, consider if this is linked together. If you had that feeling right before it happened and that you're still having it right now, can you actually try to think through that, pray through that, write through that without even talking to the person who did it to you, and see if you can resolve that pain in your back by resolving a little bit the feeling of betrayal within your body by, again, prayer, writing, breathing, and see if it can affect that pain in your back. I often find that if I press on muscles on the front that correlate to the back, so like if you put a ray of light where you're hurting in the back, and that light comes through to your chest, and then you massage that point on the chest where the light comes through, sometimes you can get it to help that spot on the back. Next, we have the solar plexus area, right where your rib cage comes apart and your stomach starts. Right in that area, the solar plexus area, and it would be the mid-back, right in the mid-back. Do you have any pain in that area? Like, that would feel sometimes like having acid reflux or GERD, or you could feel like you can't swallow, or you have just burning pain there. Sometimes it feels a little bit like really high gas, or you could feel like you just can't bend over because there's pain there. Sometimes some gallbladder issues right there. Or you could have pain on your back at the same area, kind of below your rib cage, but not quite your lower back, right in that area. Sometimes we have pain there if you're a runner or if you're doing intense, high intensity breathing exercises, like if you're having to breathe really deep, not like it's a breathing exercise, but you're doing exercises that create intense breathing. Sometimes we hurt the very outside breathing muscles. This area is one of the areas that represents power, feeling powerful or feeling powerless. So the front and the back were right below the rib cage. And so are you feeling powerful in your life or powerless in your life? If there's a lot of pain or just intensity that's concentrated in this area. So look at where you're feeling like you might need some support or you're feeling overly powerful, then this can also hurt for that reason. If there's no balance in the power area in your life, this area could be creating some issues for you. Then the next area is the gut and the lower back. This is a big place because it's easy for things to hide in here. You can hide emotional pain like in between your colon area. There's a lot of area that's not, you're not able to touch, right? It's so deep. And so some things can hide in here. We can feel pain in the back This is more fear area. If you're feeling fear in your life, if you're feeling worry's in the front. And sometimes those go together. You can find a spot on your back, in the low back, your quadratus lumborum, or other different types of low back muscles, like right above where you would put your belt. And you can find a spot that matches it in the front, just like that light going through for the chest. Same thing if you want to put it where you're having back pain, and see if you can see that light coming through your body. And you could try to find a spot with your finger on the front. You might be able to find corresponding pain points, and if you hold it together for a little bit, sometimes you can get one or both to relax, which is really exciting to be able to do on your own. And then you know how to solve that problem. And the last area would be your hips, like right in front where your private parts are, and in the back, all the glute muscles and the sacrum. This area will be sore, and right above it will be sore too in the lower back if you're not feeling grounded. So this is a main area for feeling grounded. So I also have talked about this quite a bit, like feeling grounded is the enoughs. Do you have enough? The basics would be enough food, enough shelter, enough love, enough safety, enough creativity, enough free time, enough sleep, enough, all the enoughs. So like you can keep going and saying, do I have what I need, and what is missing for me? And if you're having a hard time answering those questions, this area can get really achy until it's resolved. So like if you've just gone through a divorce, for example, this area can be very shaky. It's interesting because it's shaky both mentally, physically, and spiritually, because when it's shaky mentally because these things have just happened to you, and spiritually because you're spiritually like concerned or not trusting God or being angry with the situation. And then physically it can actually move like a millimeter or so in one direction, which puts your whole posture off and your whole spine off, and it can actually just literally feel like someone has just pulled a rug out from under you and you're not stable anymore. But to recap, we'll go over all of these a little bit more this year. Everybody's wanting to hear about these. But right now, what I wanted to just remind you is go over last year. How did your body do last year? How did you feel emotionally, physically, and spiritually? Can you match how you felt emotionally, physically, and spiritually with different specific parts of your body? Can you match different parts of fighting with someone, different times that you were worried or you were really scared, like you couldn't find a kid, or something happened, you thought you were going to lose your job, something really intense? Can you match that intense day with a pain or an interesting response in your body? That is so key, because if you can have those aha moments, it can really, really change the quickness in which you heal from almost anything. And the last thing I wanted to talk about today was setting your body up for success for next year. And how can you do that? I have 3 steps for you that I'm going to try this year, and I thought I could share with you. My first one is to put breathing first. Just put it first. I actually had it second on my list, which I thought was really funny, because then I said put breathing first, and I'm like, well, I'm going to put breathing first instead of number 2. So number 1, put breathing first. So helpful to relax, to get better concentration, to take a moment before you say something you wish you hadn't. So many things that putting breathing first can help. So number 1, breathe. Number 2 is to set an intention of how you would like your body to feel this year. So I want my body to feel at ease. So that's my word, my intention this year. I want my body to feel at ease. And what can I do to set my body up for success around creating ease for how I feel? How do I create ease? So I'm really concentrating on my self-care this year. And breathing is one of those, taking time to breathe and pray. I'm also taking time to do things like more walking, more quiet time, more baths, getting my nails done, seeing my girlfriends more often, and having lots and lots of chocolate. And my third way to set your body up for success this year is to be kind to yourself. So when I add a kindness to someone else, I'm going to add a kindness to myself. So that's how I'm going to remember. So as I give, I want to receive from myself. As I give to others with love and understanding, compassion, all those things that I show others, I'm going to turn that back on myself. So can you do that too? So add kindness to yourself, and to remind yourself to do that every time you remember being kind to somebody else, try to be kind to yourself as well. So those are my 3. First, put breathing first and not second. 2, set an intention of how you would like your body to feel this year. And number 3, add kindness to yourself every time you add kindness to someone else in the world. So what do you think about my 3? So to recap today's podcast episode, we want to talk about how you did last year. How did your body do last year? Did you sleep well? Did you have less pain or more pain? Did you communicate better with yourself, or were you still mean to yourself? How did you do? And then assessing how you did by body part. How did your head do, your neck, your chest, your solar plexus, your low back and gut, and then your hip area? How did all those do? And then setting your body up for success for next year. Again, putting breathing first, setting up an intention for how you want your body to feel next year, and then be kind to yourself every time you're kind to someone else. I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Your Body Advocate with Ruth Cummings. We're so glad you've joined us today and truly believe you can live a pain-free, passion-filled life. To connect with Ruth, work with Ruth, or to grab your free ebook, go to ruthcummings.com. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. Until next time, friends, be open, include the unincluded, think outside the box, and spread love and kindness one smile at a time.